He said, "Come wander with me, love. Come wander with me away from this sad world. Come wander with me."
Diet Coke cans made from the Titanic, Part 6. Luxury Suite, 2nd floor. Amongst the hours of the two women sitting, talking, acknowledging, and drinking black coffee, they concluded that they would both spend the day inside of the suite fasting and away from all temptations and distractions. Anna called our cabin from Astra's phone and asked if it would be okay if I was left alone for the day. With my novel at the forefront of my mind, I excitedly became enraptured in the thought of being left alone to write with no limitations on time or worries. "Go get 'em, slugger," she said. "Just for your information, I'm placing our marriage in God's hands today, so if the tide of the battle turns, you'll know why." "Oh," I responded. "Well, that's a weight off my shoulders at least." "I feel like I can breathe again," she laughed. "I love you. See you tonight." "I love you too. Hopefully I'll be able to have some words on the page for you to read when you get back," I said with a big smile, happy to get back on the grind. "You better, baby," Anna finished, then swiftly hung up the phone. She placed the headset back upon the receiver and leaned her head on the back of the couch as her arm rested atop the elegant wooden table. "We got into a fight last night," she voiced to Astra before she sipped from her coffee again. "How the fuck could you ever get into a fight with Alex?" Astra asked. "The boy is completely harmless." Anna softly stroked the edge of her coffee mug with her thumb, gazing at the warm black liquid, and licked her bottom lip and smiled. "He is. He's a great shit talker, and that's why we've always gotten along so well. Since we were kids, the way he would make me laugh has always been my favorite thing about him. But I don't know, honestly, I'm afraid we are turning into you and Aslan." Astra perched up from her chair and exclaimed, "Me and Aslan?" Anna knew that this was a difficult conversation she was going to have to maneuver through, but she didn't want to hold anything back from this woman or keep her fears in line. Astra could answer things, not the kind of things you would read in a biography or news article. Aslan's suicide was highly publicized, but there was always the missing human element. Anna never knew Aslan like Astra or Alex. She could feel disheartened by his loss and relate to the situation only through what has already been said. But other than the surface level depth of this man's life, she never truly understood how a man who was so vicariously successful, loved, and adored could ever give it all up. The captured dream, the mountain peak, the beauty, the accolades that were chosen for him but never received in his hands. "Oh honey, what we had is nothing like what you do. I can see the similarities with Alex and Aslan both being writers, but why on earth would you waste a perfectly good night with your husband on such a silly, anxious thought?" Astra said as she opened her jeweled cigar box and took one from the velvet cradle. "It isn't just that. Alex and I are out here, living in nice hotels, traveling, wearing new clothes, drinking, smoking. We are totally disconnected from the problems of the world or a regular life. I don't have a job or a car payment. I don't have to worry about being evicted from my home. Who am I to deserve this, Astra? Who am I to wear a fur coat and high heels, walking past hungry children and people living in the street?" "Does God not desire for you to have an abundant life?" Astra interrupted, puffing from her cigar. Anna slouched back into her chair, the coffee gone from her mug. "Abundant life?" Astra exhaled a large cloud of bluish gray smoke. You cannot compare your life to anyone else's. We don't enjoy our blessings when we covet our neighbors, but if we see someone who we perceive to be less blessed, then we can't enjoy what we've been given either. So what do? She leaned into Anna and placed her hand on her knee. You enjoy yourself, baby. I am. I promise I am. It's just, I'm not used to this. This past year has been so magical. 2 years ago, I was screaming at my ex in his shitty fucking camping trailer about the stupidest bullshit. Now I'm happily married to a best-selling writer. My life is a vacation. I can go to places I've always wanted to. Trust me, none of this is fucking lost on me. But what did I do to deserve any of this? Anna said, lighting a menthol cigarette. I'm afraid it's going to end terribly. Ah, I see now. You think too much of a good thing is going to require tragedy to keep the universe scale from tipping. Astra spoke, replacing Anna's empty coffee mug with a crisp new can of Diet Coke. Doesn't it always? Anna asked. Astra sat back down in her plush chair overlooking the vast ocean, the front row of my blue heaven sailing through with ease, grace, and elegance. May I tell you my story? Astra asked. It was the question Anna had longed for, the invitation to unveil the mythological prose that could give answer to her deepest anxieties and fears. Finally, offered to congest and purify in the iniquities of her soul, Anna responded with as much constraint and humility in her being as she could offer. Please. My family left Kiev after the Chernobyl explosion. The Soviet Union was collapsing, less so than it is now, but when a nuclear reactor goes to shit and the entire world is staring at you, it doesn't take long before everything else starts to go to shit. So we left. It was a horrible and terrifying time, but there was so much to be excited about. Ukrainians are a very well-educated people. We really don't have anything fucking extraordinary other than our pride in education. I wanted to be a nurse. Can you believe that? Astra chuckled at the thought and took another puff from her thick cigar. We started over and moved to Texas. I was going to be an Aggie. They have a great nursing program, and if it wasn't for money, I would probably be wearing that golden ring. Me and a couple friends went out to a club one night. Wasn't going to be anything crazy, but that night changed everything for me. A talent agent came up to me and offered me a chance. Cleaning big Texas homes paid well, but modeling paid much better. One thing led to another, and after about 8 months, I became one of the most sought-after models in America. It's a crazy thing being the it girl, but I didn't go into it dumb and blind. I knew what it was. I knew that just because I was invited to the house didn't mean I was allowed to sit at the table. I was there to be looked at and to be flirted with and seduced. And to be completely honest, it felt nice. Rich, lavish gifts from men and even women. Communism makes terrible romantics. But here, in a free capitalist country, people will buy whatever is new and beautiful just to see you smile. Of course, some want to fuck, but when you're not known for putting out, it makes the gifts far grander. You become the goal and the prize. You become the gift. From a crowded and small apartment in Kiev with water-stained ceilings and the cracked bathroom window to one of the most expensive penthouses in California, it felt like God had personally chosen me. It felt like nothing was impossible. Then I met Aslan. He changed everything. He became my everything. I hadn't seen his film at that point, but I knew it had been a release of that rarely captured lightning in a bottle. There was an aura to him, so gentle, yet so masculine. A lot of people don't know this about him, but he was a crop duster before he became famous. We met at just another party. You know the kind. The ones where everyone goes to find another breakthrough. Casual business. Drug-reddened eyes looking directly at you as you're offered a small guest sitcom spot or dinner invitation. Of course, the dinner invite comes with maybe even a lead starring role of a B flick, but after the bottles of champagne are finished, you're going to have to suck dick to get the part. It's amazing what wealth and a beautiful location will make you become. It changes you. We've all done it, been wooed by the labels and lighting. But Aslan was different. He was sort of a weirdo. He was more of a voyeur of that lifestyle than an active participant. Maybe that's what made him such a great fucking director, his ability to look. I guess he never lost that crop dusting edge. The way he would look at you, like he was studying the world through your eyes and trying to see through your reality, enchanted me. It was just another bullshit party. He was just another bullshit director. But I fell in love with him the moment he came up to me. It was the beginning of a whole new world for me, because I could also see the world through his reality. Chernobyl, college, modeling, all my heartbreaks, letdowns, rejections, breakthroughs, and shattered ceilings. Nothing compared to him. That's lust. And I've been searching for that rush ever since. The idea of being swept away in a whirlwind romance like that has always seemed so silly until you become a part of one. Astra looked at Anna as she took the last sip of her Diet Coke. Astra puffed from her cigar and tapped it with her ring finger, holding it before Anna. I even smoke his fucking cigars because I don't want to forget his smell. Holy shit, Anna responded, placing the empty soda can upon the glass table between them. Astra gave a subtle grin and continued, exhaling the smoke from her cigar. You know the story of Abraham, right? From the Bible? Anna replied. Genesis, Astra replied. He's considered the father of our faith, but what did he do, really, other than have a child at an old age? How can a man who lied about his wife multiple times, laid with another woman, bore a child with her, then sent them away, be held in such high regard that Jewish, Christian, and Muslim people considered him a saint? Why would he be one of the few human beings to speak directly to God and his angels? All he had to do was keep having sex with his wife, if you really think about it. And he received the offspring outnumbering the stars. I think about Ishmael a lot, Abraham's first son. What did he do to deserve to be outcasted? He was just a boy. And it took me a while to realize how important he is. How even though he and his mother were sent away from Abraham, it never took away Ishmael's blessing. He's a prophet in the Islamic faith, venerated and even acknowledged as an ancestor to Muhammad. God still made a great nation out of him. Astra asked her cigar and leaned back into her chair. Now going back to Aslan and me, when we lived in the St. Regis, we lived so recklessly there. We filled the bathtub with champagne and made love in it. We partied without ceasing. People came and went as fast as the money. And I could see how you would relate that picture to you and Alex. But this was different. This was a freight train barreling down the tracks at full speed. The only way it was going to end was disaster. He never showed any signs of depression. He never even spoke about suicidal thoughts. I suppose those thoughts were too deep inside of him for them to be vocalized. That no matter what, that was going to be his way out. They didn't need to be checked in or brought upon anyone else. That it was his decision. I've never hated someone more in my life than him, Anna. Do you know how confusing that is? To hate and love someone with your fucking entirety. It ruins who you think you know, who you go to bed with at night, who you give up your time and heart to. And I guess that's the selfish part of me. That after the dust settled, the only thing I could think was, why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why do bad things happen to good people? Astra looked into Anna's eyes and crushed the nib of a cigar. God has a funny way of reminding us that life isn't what happens to us. It's what happens for us. She giggled and continued. John Jacob Astor IV is the man that started the St. Regis. I lived in his creation, and my life changed forever in that hotel room. Do you know what happened to him? He died when the Titanic sunk. He was a man that had so much to give to the world, just like Aslan. Then Astra picked up Anna's empty Diet Coke can and held it high in the air. It reflected beautifully underneath the crisp and translucent chandelier. Do you know what would have happened to the Titanic if it never sank? If it completed its multiple decade-long career as an ocean liner? It would have been stripped down and its steel would have been recycled into everyday bullshit like this can. She then stood from her chair, set the can upon the marbled floor, and violently crushed the can underneath her foot. Instead, the Titanic is now a fucking sanctuary at the bottom of the ocean.